Okay, let's just settle into a nice, comfortable seated posture. And take a nice deep breath. Relax the body. Allow your mind just to kind of drop in. If you're sitting at your desk, have your feet flat on the floor. Really try and feel the feet grounding into the earth. Feel the weight. Have your feet and knees about a hips width apart. Hands can be resting just very gently in your lap or in the meditation mudra, right hand nestled in the left with the thumbs touching. Feel your sits bones on your seat cushion. If you're sitting in the cross-legged position, you can maybe just raise your sits bones, your coccyx, just a little bit. It tilts the whole pelvic bowl and allows you to straighten your spine a little. Otherwise, if your lower back is kind of tight, you'll find that you'll be rounding your back. It's not so comfortable. Shoulders aligned with the hips and ears, as best you can, aligned with your shoulders. And imagine your spine is this beautiful string of pearls of light that stretch from the base all the way up through the crown of the head and beyond. Some space in between those vertebrae. And breathe. And bring your awareness to the crown of the head and relax the scalp. Maybe you can feel some sensation there. Relax the forehead, the eyes, the back of the eye, the nose, the cheeks, the mouth, the jaw, the temples, the back of the tongue, the ears, the back of the head. Just relax and release the tension in the back of the skull at the occipital bone. Relax the back of the neck and allow your shoulders and shoulder blades to just drop down. Relax the throat and the chest and the belly and all of your limbs. Notice the sensation of the air as you inhale and exhale. A little bit cooler as you breathe in, slightly warmer as you exhale. And just allow your conscious mind to be aware of the sounds in your current environment. Could be crickets outside, as I'm hearing here, or maybe you have people or pets in your home. And just notice what thoughts might be arising in the mind, and maybe put some space in between those thoughts. Try not to judge what's arising in the mind or have opinions. So try and watch what's going on in the mind with an attitude of curiosity and objectivity. So just observing. And bring to mind all the people of your life. You can start with the ones you love. Then there's those ones we don't like so much. And then there's our strangers. They're all interchangeable, these relationships, due to impermanence, karma. So all these people are just like us. They're just like you and me. That one you don't like is just like you. And that they're all equal in this way of wanting to be happy, just like you and me. And they want to not suffer, just like you and me. And they all have Buddhahood, this potential, this unbelievable potential. So we think we'll do this meditation this evening for all these people of our life, and by extension, all sentient beings. And I just wanted to mention my precious friend Linda, who just had a hip replacement today, which I think is a kind of gnarly operation, and then they send you home the same day, which just sounds awful. So any of you have any other people in your life, I think there was a puja this afternoon for Kalden Sering, who's, may or may not be still in the bardo. We just don't know. But you can imagine these people, anyone that you know that may be unhappy, unwell, suffering, just sitting beside you and doing the meditation with you. So we think there is no negativity that can't be purified. And this purification process is basically a psychological one. We create negativity with our mind. So equally, we can change that by creating positivity instead. And we start with this power of regret. So sincerely regret from the depths of your heart anything you have done to harm any living being on this day, in this life, and in all of our past lives, and think of specific actions of both your body and your speech, and then in general, regret all. And the reason to regret is based on this logic of karma. We experience everything due to our past karma, our past actions. So having harmed others, we ourselves will necessarily experience suffering in the future. And we cannot bear the thought of any future suffering that we ourselves will experience. We know from our present suffering we don't want any more. So logically, it makes sense to remove the karmic seeds before they ripen as future suffering for us. So think like this: I regret from the depths of my heart having harmed others with my body and my speech, having broken my vows because I do not want the future suffering. I'm sick of suffering. Also regret any anger, attachment, and the rest that are the cause of why we harm others, and think I'm sick of this suffering. And then think, what can I do about it? Whom can I turn to? So here we come to this power of reliance. We turn to the Buddha, who we see as a doctor, who has the methods that we can use to purify. And it's not that we're needing Buddha to forgive us. We're purifying ourselves by relying upon his medicine. So you imagine Vajrasattva above the crown of your head. You can also imagine this is your teacher manifesting in this form for your benefit. And you imagine he's made of this beautiful, radiant, blissful white light, sitting cross-legged on a white lotus and a moon cushion. And he has a beautiful, radiant face. His eyes are long and peaceful and full of love and compassion for you and all those people of your life. He has a sweet red mouth. His hair is black and held up in a top knot. His arms are crossed at his heart, the left underneath the right. The left is holding a bell representing wisdom, and the right is holding a vajra, which represents the indestructibility of compassion. And their being crossed represents the union of these two, and this symbolizes enlightenment itself, the development of infinite wisdom and infinite compassion. To the Buddha, the Dharma, and the Sangha, I go for refuge until I'm enlightened. By this practice of meditating on Guru Vajrasattva, may I reach Buddhahood so as to benefit all sentient beings. So we have this little section here on developing compassion. And in order to develop compassion, we need to rely upon other beings, the very beings we have harmed and those who have harmed us, by developing compassion for them. So think particularly of someone you may have harmed recently and in the past, and then in general, all beings we have ever harmed since beginningless time. And then remember those who have harmed you and have compassion for them, because the harm they've caused you is going to result as suffering for them in the future. So make a strong aspiration to do this practice of purification for the sake of all these beings, and think, I must purify for their sake. And then we come to this power of remedy, and this is the medicine doing the practice of purification. And we start with our body, and imagine Vajrasattva very compassionately sends powerful white nectar, like coming out of a hose, quite forcefully from his heart, and it arcs around and enters your crown and pours into your entire body, filling you completely, and it keeps pouring into you until it forces out of your lower orifices all the harm you have ever done to any living being with your body in the form of inky liquid, and this pours out of you and disappears into space, not one atom left, as we recite the mantra. Vajrasattva samaya manupalaya Vajrasattva dina patita Jita meboa Sitokaya meboa Sipokaya meboa Anarakta meboa Sawasidi mimpi yatta sawa kama sita me Sitam Shriyam Guru Hum Ha Ho Bhagavan Sawa Tata Gata Vajramami Mutta Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sattva A Hum Pe Vajrasattva samaya manupalaya Vajrasattva dina patita Jita meboa Sitokaya meboa Sipokaya meboa Anarakta meboa Sawasidi mimpi yatta sawa kama sita me Sitam Shriyam Guru Hum Ha Ho Bhagavan Sawa Tata Gata Vajramami Mutta Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sattva A Hum Pe Vajrasattva samaya manupalaya Vajrasattva dina patita Drita meboa Sitokaya meboa Sipokaya meboa Anarakta meboa Sawasidi mimpi yatta sawa kama sita me Sitam Shriyam Guru Hum Ha Ho Bhagavan Sawa Tata Gata Vajramami Mutta Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sattva A Hum Pe Vajrasattva samaya manupalaya Vajrasattva dina patita Jita meboa Sitokaya meboa Sipokaya meboa Anarakta meboa Sawasidi mimpi yatta sawa kama sita me Sitam Shriyam Guru Hum Ha Ho Bhagavan Sawa Tata Gata Vajramami Mutta Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sattva A Hum Pe Vajrasattva samaya manupalaya Vajrasattva dina patita Dita meboa Sitokaya meboa Sipokaya meboa Anarakta meboa Sawasidi mimpi yatta sawa kama sita me Sitam Shriyam Guru Hum Ha Ho Bhagavan Sawa Tata Gata Vajramami Mutta Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sattva A Hum Pe Vajrasattva samaya manupalaya Vajrasattva dina patita Drita meboa Sitokaya meboa Sipokaya meboa Anarakta meboa Sawasidi mimpi yatta sawa kama sita me Sitam Shriyam Guru Hum Ha Ho Bhagavan Sawa Tata Gata Vajramami Mutta Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sattva A Hum Pe Vajrasattva samaya manupalaya Vajrasattva dina patita Drita meboa Sitokaya meboa Sipokaya meboa Anarakta meboa Sawasidi mimpi yatta sawa kama sita me Sitam Shriyam Guru Hum Ha Ho Bhagavan Sawa Tata Gata Vajramami Mutta Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sattva A Hum Pe. So be delighted that all the harm you've ever done to any sentient being with your body is now completely purified, and think that there's no way you could do anything but benefit others now with your body. And next is the purification of our speech, and Vajrasattva very happily sends powerful nectar from his heart chakra, and this arcs around and quite forcefully enters your crown and fills your entire body, except this time forcing up to the top of your body all the negativity of your speech, and this overflows and disappears into space, not one atom left. So just imagine that all the gossip and the harsh speech and the useless speech and lying and talking about other people behind their backs and getting other people to agree with you, all of this is purified by this powerful nectar filling you as we recite the mantra. Vajrasattva samaya manupalaya Vajrasattva dina patita Jita meboa Sitokaya meboa Sipokaya meboa Anarakta meboa Sawasidi mimpi yatta sawa kama sita me Sitam Shriyam Guru Hum Ha Ho Bhagavan Sawa Tata Gata Vajramami Mutta Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sattva A Hum Pe Vajrasattva samaya Vajrasattva samaya manupalaya Vajrasattva dina patita Dita meboa, sitokaya meboa, sipokaya meboa, anarakta meboa, sawasidi mimpi yatta sawa kama sita me, sitam shriyam kuru hum ha ho bhagawan, sawa tata gata vajramami mutta vajrabawa mahasamaya satra a hum pe. Vajrasafa samaya manupalaya, vajrasafa dina patita, dita meboa, sitokaya meboa, sipokaya meboa, excuse me. Anarakta meboa, sawasidi mimpi yatta sawa kama sita me, sitam shriyam guru hum ha 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 ho bhagawan, sawa tata gata vajramami mutta vajrabawa mahasamaya satra a hum pe. Vajrasafa samaya manupalaya, vajrasafa dina patita, dina meboa, situkaya meboa, sipokaya meboa, anarakta meboa, sawasidi mimpi yatta sawa kama sita me, sitam shriyam guru hum ha 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 ho bhagawan, sawa tata gata vajramami mutta vajrabawa mahasamaya satra a hum pe. Vajrasafa samaya manupalaya, vajrasafa dina patita, dita meboa, sitokaya meboa, sipokaya meboa, anarakta meboa, sawasidi mimpi yatta sawa kama sita me, sitam shriyam kuru hum ha ho bhagawan, sawa tata gata vajramami mutta vajrabawa mahasamaya satra a hum pe. Vajrasafa samaya manupalaya, vajrasafa dina patita, dita meboa, sitokaya meboa, sipokaya meboa, anarakta meboa, sawasidi mimpi yatta sawa kama sita me, sitam shriyam kuru hum ha ho bhagawan, sawa tata gata vajramami mutta vajrabawa mahasamaya satra a hum pe. Vajrasafa samaya manupalaya, vajrasafa dina patita, dita meboa, sitokaya meboa, sipokaya meboa, anarakta meboa, sawasidi mimpi yatta sawa kama sita me, sitam shriyam kuru hum ha ho bhagawan, sawa tata gata vajramami mutta vajrabawa mahasamaya satra a hum pe. So I feel really happy that your speech is now completely purified, and imagine it's not possible to do anything but benefit others now with your speech. And next is this purification of our mind, and Vajrasattva very compassionately sends powerful beams of light from his heart chakra, and this arcs around and enters your crown and fills your entire being. So you just imagine you walk into a room, it's dark, you flick on that switch, and the light instantly dispels the darkness. So imagine the same here. The light from Vajrasattva's heart hits your heart chakra, and all the darkness of the negativity of your mind. So all the attachment and neediness, bitterness, grudges, jealousy, depression, anxiety, all of this instantly dispelled, not one atom left as we recite the mantra. Vajrasattva samaya manupalaya, vajrasattva dina patita, dita meboa, sitokaya meboa, sipokaya meboa, anarakta meboa, sawasidi mimpi yatta sawa kama sita me, sitam shriyam kuru hum ha ho bhagawan, sawa tata gata vajramami mutta vajrabawa mahasamaya satra a hum pe. Vajrasattva samaya manupalaya, vajrasattva dina patita, dita meboa, sitokaya meboa, sipokaya meboa, anarakta meboa, sawasidi mimpi yatta sawa kama sita me, sitam shriyam kuru hum ha ho bhagawan, sawa tata gata vajramami mutta vajrabawa mahasamaya satra a hum pe. Vajrasattva samaya manupalaya, vajrasattva dina patita, dita meboa, sitokaya meboa, sipokaya meboa, anarakta meboa, sawasidi mimpi yatta sawa kama sita me, sitam shriyam kuru hum ha ho bhagawan, sawa tata gata vajramami mutta vajrabawa mahasamaya satra a hum pe. Vajrasattva samaya manupalaya, vajrasattva dina patita, dita meboa, sitokaya meboa, sipokaya meboa, anarakta meboa, sawasidi mimpi yatta sawa kama sita me, sitam shriyam kuru hum ha ho bhagawan, sawa tata gata vajramami mutta vajrabawa mahasamaya satra a hum pe. Vajrasattva samaya manupalaya, vajrasattva dina patita, dita meboa, sitokaya meboa, sipokaya meboa, anarakta meboa, sawasidi mimpi yatta sawa kama sita me, sitam shriyam kuru hum ha ho bhagawan, sawa tata gata vajramami mutta vajrabawa mahasamaya satra a hum pe. Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dina Patita Dina Meboa Situkaya Meboa Sipokaya Meboa Anarakta Meboa Sawasidi Mimpiyata Sawa Kama Sita Me Sitam Shriyam Kuru Hum Ha Ho Bhagawan Sawatata Gata Vajramami Mutta Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Satra Ahum Pe Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dina Patita Dina Meboa Situkaya Meboa Sipokaya Meboa Anurakta meboa sawasidi mimpiyata sawa kama sita me sitam shriyam kuru hum ha ho bhagawan sawa tatagata vajrama mimutsa vajrabawa mahasamaya sattva hum pe. So again, be delighted that all your delusions, which are the source of all of our own suffering and the cause of why we harm others with our body and our speech, are completely purified. And think there's no space in your heart now for anything other than love and kindness and forgiveness and wisdom and bliss and compassion. And next is this purification of even the imprints of negativity of the body, speech, and mind. And this time, imagine that Vajrasattva sends light and nectar, and it fills you completely and eradicates even the kind of the subtlest imprints of negative energy from your consciousness. Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dina Patita Dina Meboa Situkaya Meboa Sipokaya Meboa Anarakta Meboa Sawasidi Mimpiyata Sawa Kama Sita Me Sitam Shriyam Kuru Hum Ha Ho Bhagawan Sawa Tatagata Vajramami Mutta Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Satra Ahum Pe Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dina Patita Dina Meboa Situkaya Meboa Sipokaya Meboa Anarakta meboa sawasidi mimpiyata sawa kama sita me sitam shriyam kuru hum ha ho bhagawan sawa tatagata vajramami mutta vajrabawa mahasamaya satra ahum pe vajrasattva samaya manupalaya vajrasattva dina patita dina meboa situkaya meboa sipokaya meboa anarakta meboa sawasidi mimpiyata sawa kama sita me sitam shriyam kuru hum ha ho bhagawan Sawa tatagata vajramami mutta vajrabawa mahasamaya satra ahum pe vajrasattva samaya manupalaya vajrasattva dina patita dina meboa situkaya meboa sipokaya meboa anarakta meboa sawasidi mimpiyata sawa kama sita me sitam shriyam kuru hum ha ho bhagawan sawa tatagata vajramami mutta vajrabawa mahasamaya satra ahum pe Vajrasattva samaya manupalaya vajrasattva dina patita dina meboa situkaya meboa sipokaya meboa anarakta meboa sawasidi mimpiyata sawa kama sita me sitam shriyam kuru hum ha ho bhagawan sawa tatagata vajramami mutta vajrabawa mahasamaya satra ahum pe Vajrasattva samaya manupalaya vajrasattva dina patita dina meboa situkaya meboa sipokaya meboa Anurakta meboa sawasidi mimpiyata sawa kama sita me sitam shriyam kuru hum ha ho bhagawan sawa tatagata vajramami mutta vajrabawa mahasamaya satra ahum pe vajrasattva samaya manupalaya vajrasattva dina patita dina meboa situkaya meboa sipokaya meboa anurakta meboa sawasidi mimpiyata sawa kama sita me sitam shriyam kuru hum ha ho bhagawan Sawa tatagata vajramami mutta vajrabawa mahasamaya sattva ahum pe. So now feel completely purified. Just imagine there's not one atom of negativity left in your mind stream. Even the subtlest obscurations to your enlightenment have been removed. Now we come to the power of resolve, and this is the fourth and final step in the purification process, and it's a really crucial one. And this is this determination to not harm with our body and our speech and our mind. We can just have this aspiration to refrain from harming. And this aspiration becomes like a beacon that guides our body and our speech and our mind in new directions. So Rinpoche used to talk about everything being existing on the tip of the wishes. And you can think about rejoicing in your efforts to come along here tonight. Like I said, we have one person here, Shrey, is 6 o'clock in the morning, 6:30 now. And then there's people in New York and on the East Coast it's 11:30 at night. And then we have people in the middle of their day in Australia. So just rejoice in your efforts coming along, getting up early, going to bed late, taking time out in the middle of your day. And for the rest of us, we're all somewhere in between. So I think it's something you'd like to work on between now and tomorrow. Some habit that you may be trying to get on top of. And then think this determination to maybe refrain from doing something that's maybe harmful, maybe it's your speech, is what gives us strength to change. So imagine Vajrasattva's delighted with us, wants to merge with your mind and melts into white light and absorbs into you through your crown, and think, my teacher's body, speech, and mind, Vajrasattva's body, speech, and mind, and my own body, speech, and mind are the same. So let's just dedicate. Let's just meditate on emptiness. Amy, I just saw your message. And we think in emptiness there is no I, the creative negative karma. There is no action of creating negative karma, and there is no negative karma created. So at whatever level you understand emptiness, even if you just only know the word, just consider this idea that all phenomena are empty. They just don't exist from their own side. So you can think, one example is you can think of, this IKEA furniture that comes in a box, or Wayfair, or wherever you buy your furniture from, comes in a box. On the internet, on your kind of like your page on the IKEA website, it looks like a beautiful table or a beautiful cabinet. And then when it turns up, it's just like 1,000,001 screws and not very clear instructions. So it's like that. And then you think things that the way things appear to me may not necessarily be the way they exist. So let's just dedicate all the merit we've created, all the positive energy by doing this practice to all living beings, and think, may all the virtuous karma I've created from doing this practice ripen as my enlightenment for the sake of sentient beings as quickly as possible. And here we've got Amy's cats. 3 or 4 have to go to the vet hospital. Oh, okay. All right, Amy. So it's dedicate for the cats as well. Okay, the wisdom of discernment. He is a being who's fully realized truth, reality, its peak and selflessness, supreme in, wait, what? Where are we? Hello. What's going on? There we are. Wisdom of discernment. Supreme in propagating emptiness, unspoken teaching both the deep and vast. The Dharma conch emitting a piercing sound, the Dharma gong with lasting resonance. Arriving at unbounded liberation, he is the Dharma drum in all directions. Without a form, with handsome form supreme, replete with forms diverse, comprised of mind, with splendor shining through his every form, with all reflections under his control. Okay. Let's just dedicate for the long life of His Holiness the Dalai Lama, the swift return of our precious Lama Zopa Rinpoche, and for all of your own teachers, whoever they may be.